Hey, this is Glendon Cameron with the first segment of Creating Your Own Economy webinar. And I decided to start at the ground level. There's no point in saying, hey, do this. I'm going to lead you down the path that made me come to some conclusions maybe 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, and in a strange sense, probably 15 years ago. But I didn't know the path that I embarked on was going to be so prescient in my own future. But we're going to start here. And I'm doing the video on YouTube in the very near future, but I'm telling you guys first. We have something that no one is talking about. We have the largest educated underclass group of people that we've ever had. That's right, the new lower class, highly educated and poorly paid. This trend will not reverse itself. Going back to the Hustler Mindset Project on the video about narratives, you still see it. Just recently, a guy on Facebook was saying, but the knowledge says that the person with a degree is going to make more money. And I have empirical evidence. I've crunched numbers myself to simply say that is not true. Will a doctor make more money than a high school graduate? Of course. Will a successful lawyer, not any lawyer. My sister's an attorney. Her field has gone through a tremendous amount of churn. People that go to school and work in the field, i.e. doctors, engineers, that they had to get their degree in, on average, do make more money than high school graduates. But when you pull out those select degrees, and it's not like it's 100,000 of them, literally it's just a few dozen. When you pull those degrees out, and then the difference between a college graduate and a high school graduate is very marginal. It is extremely marginal and is proven. This is stuff that you see every day when you go to Starbucks, when you go to Walmart, and you're talking to that well-spoken person who's making $8.50 an hour. They have a degree. They were taught a few things that are just not relevant to this new economy. Now, Canada, and I saw this last year, the beginning of the year, and they did a documentary on it, and there was this serious group of people. Now, understand, Canada has a larger social net than we do, and these people are still going through these things. They are extremely educated and extremely frustrated. Now, this is where the sharing economy is beginning. Understand, there are some winners in this group of people who are educated, who went ahead and got a degree, and they just can't seem to find a job that will reward them for their hard efforts. There's some winners. So what these educated people are doing are creating their own things. They're using their talents, they're using their networks to create other networks, more so out of necessity than desire. If these people were allowed to participate in the economy as it is now, they would not be induced to start their own things, to create these new platforms, to create these new technologies. They are, by force and absolute necessity, creating this other economy. There's, just to give you the distinct economies, there's traditional economy, there is the underground economy, or the black market. There's the secondary market, which is the exchange of pre-owned items, eBay, Craigslist, garage sales, and now the sharing economy. Now, the sharing economy is really, really hot because essentially it strikes at the core of what I have been preaching for years. Create your own economy. A person in a town of, say, 20,000 people that comes up with a service that, say, 4,000 of those people need in that town could become a millionaire. Let's look at those numbers. A town of 20,000 people, they create a service that only 4,000 out the 20, they could become a millionaire. So what you're seeing here is when you create the sharing economy, or you create your own economy, you don't have to have hundreds of thousands or millions of customers to be extraordinarily successful. And the reason is you are getting more of the pie. Just to give you an example of what I'm talking about, I want you to envision in your mind a pie chart, because I'm not going to do it because it's so simple. There's no point in me doing the graph. You see a pie, and 50% of the pie is gone. That's going to the retailer. I'm going to use being an author selling a book. 50% of the pie is gone. Okay, that leaves you 50%. Wrong. 27% of what's left is going to the publisher. So, wow, 77% is gone before you even get paid, which leaves you 23%. Nope, does not leave you 23%. Take between 5 and 7% from that 23%, and let's just say 7. Okay? Take 7% from the 23%. What does that leave you? 16%. That's what you get. And that's the reason that content creators, musicians, other creative people that have to put their art, their creations, their developments, their inventions into the traditional economy don't elk out a living, because other than their attorney or their agent, which represents the 5 or 7%, more other people are making 77% before they get paid. The overwhelming majority of the income is going to someone else from another, from a creative standpoint, from a person who invented something or created something. 77%, or in the case of some musical contracts, even more. So that's the reason that people have in their heads that you have to have these huge networks and you have to sell thousands of items to make any money. It's where you are in the food chain. If you create the food chain, you get more of what's going through the assembly line. But if you're just a cog in the machinery, you get what you can get. So essentially, you can start a small company, maintain great margins, and make more money in Outback USA than someone who has mainstream exposure. And the reason I say this with a great deal of veracity is, as a self-published author, and just to give you a little background, as a child, I was a voracious reader. In Adamsville Elementary Library, Adamsville Library, if I did not read every book in there, I read at least 95% of the books there. Went through book clubs for 15 years. I was only male. I have done a lot of reading. And when I made the switch from just reading to being a writer, and I came in with a business mindset, I deduced very quickly that a lot of traditional author contracts were not, I'm not going to say they were scams, just going to say they were tilted very unfavorably in the way of the author's pocketbook or wallet. It was seriously skewed. And as a self-published author who knows many traditionally published authors, I make more money and I sell significantly less books than they do. They have to sell so many to get an income because there are so many people biting off the apple tree. So I know this to be true because I am living that life. My first first 14 months as a self-published author, I made $62,000, which is a living wage. No, you're not getting rich off of $62,000, but there's a lot of people right now that would love to make $62,000. And since I did it as a self-employed person, I got more of the pie. Now, moving on, as we look at this, and the reason I'm doing this webinar like this, because you have all of the websites and everything, so you can go back and check them out and look them over. But this is just crazy. Where have you heard this before? Read The $1 Million Promise. Why a university degree may be worth less than you think. Who's been saying that for years and been lambasted? See, this is the thing that's happening. And understand, I am not doing a happy dance, because as more of these stories come out, as more of these personal anecdotes come out, it means a lot of people are suffering. A lot of people are going through extreme angst. There are many people who are literally suicidal because they do not know what they're going to do. So this is not a happy moment that I am right. It's not happy at all. It's just, for me, validation. Those are things I've thought for many years, because more and more of this stuff comes out. Because to be really distinct and very clear. Education is extremely important to your success. It is. Getting a degree is only one form of education, but it is put up as the holy grail of all educations, even though it has significantly lost its luster and earning power for most of the people who earn one. But the narrative is so powerful that you can spend 60,000, 100,000 getting a degree that will not earn you that type of money, and people socially and with your family unit will support you because the narrative is so strong. But the empirical evidence is heavily saying that's not the case, Playboy or Playgirl. It is simply not the case. And people are waking up, and they're waking up to a very ugly nightmare. Now let's get to the real deal. This is a website I want you to check out, shareable.net. You will find all kinds of crazy stuff here, great ideas, because for those of you who are in the hustler mindset, and many of you came from a reseller background, you're going to come across some nifty stuff that may help you move some items that you actually had a hard time moving. Now, I'm not going to go through this. I'm just going to recommend that you sign up. And I mean, a lot of the stuff that I talk about, look at this. I mean, these are some very real issues and some things I think you should read because, you know, Airbnb, which I love that. I mean, there is something that I actually have been a part of that because I've encouraged some people, because Airbnb gives you the ability to turn your real estate into cash faster than anything else that I've ever seen. And it possibly could accelerate gentrification in certain neighborhoods, because if you can go to the fourth ward of Atlanta and get one of those historically homes that still has all of the dovetailing, the pocket doors, the ornate trim, the crown molding, get that house, as we like to say, for the low, then within a year after having it on Airbnb, it's completely paid off. And it, say the house goes up to $200,000 and worth for $300,000, but you are still renting that sucker out for him because it's a cash cow. The New Society from the bottom up. Like I said, this is a very good website. You will come away with a lot of good ideas because you've got your hustler mindset turned on the open position. And it is crazy what's going on, and it's very exciting. This is not something to be afraid of if you have the right knowledge. If you are a sheep with your head in the sand, yes, this could be scary. But for those of you who are like getting information, who are paying attention to what's going on, this is going to be an incredibly lucrative period of time for you. And I predict, and I'm just throwing a prediction out there, from now to the next 30 years, 35 years, this will be the way. It's just going to grow and it's just going to grow. And there's going to be a period. Right now we're coasting. I know it seems like this change is just so fantastical and it's so fast. We are coasting compared to what's going to happen in about 5 to 8 years. I'm going to say 5 to 8 years. You're going to see hockey stick growth with this type of stuff. There's literally a company that's in some kid's mind or some Asian's mind or some little black kid in the hood who's opened up and said, hey, I can invent shit that's in their mind, that's in their DNA right now, that in 3 or 4 years, that's not invented, that's just not put out, that will make me money. It's not even developed, but I already know that something is coming, whatever it is, that will make me money. And that's why you have to embrace this stuff and not be afraid and not run and not go, oh no, the sky is falling. No. Grass is growing, and you put some fertilizer down, it's going to be very green, real green, the folding kind of green that goes into your wallet. These are exciting times, my friends. These are exciting times. So don't be afraid. It's about accessing knowledge, turning the knowledge into some type of usable utility in your life. The more knowledge that you gain, the more utilities that you will have in your life. The more utilities you have, the more money that you will make. So definitely go ahead, bookmark this site, get in it, just start going through it. Because the thing is, when you're exposed to new ideas, those generate new ideas in you. Because when I go to, and I noticed this when I used to go to slam poetry events, or spoken words events, I would take my notepad with me, because when someone would come up and do something, they would say one line or two, and I would have this completely different thought process, and I had to write it down, because it was just like, it just, exposure to these new ideas, exposure to new things generate even more new things. So get involved. Now, this is another thing. And what I'm doing with this first session is showing you some things that you can put into play this week, if you so desire. There's a certain part of people that they don't want to they don't want to share their living space, and I get that. My space is too small. Well, it's not too small. The way that I run my life, it makes no sense for me to rent out any space, because I need my space to work. But if you have a big old house and it's just you could defray your mortgage by sharing your house 1 week out the month. You might even be able to pay your mortgage sharing your house 1 week out the month. And I think in some aspects, with Airbnb, this is a good thing, because, and just for the people who didn't get it, let's do this. I'm going to go, just so you have it. All right, I didn't put the .com. That was stupid. Okay, just so you have it. I fully endorse it, because there are people who are like getting married. They're meeting people they normally wouldn't meet. This is a very cool thing in more ways than just making money. It is totally, just cracks me up. Okay, so here is Get Around. You want to rent a car. You can, if you're in San Francisco and you want to rent a Tesla for it's $30 an hour. If you ever just wanted to stool it, there it is. You can rent it. Get Around is, now this is the thing, I didn't join it because I am not renting my car. But if you have an extra car, I'll just go ahead and pull. I'm not going to rent my car, but I'm going to go in here so you can, because you have to log in and register to get certain things. And I will do this. And I was like, actually, let's look at this. Look at where they're sourcing leads from. And actually, I heard about them from CBS. Let's see. So we're in there. Oh. Goofy moment. Sorry. There we go. So essentially, you could go in there, find a car. Let's just say June 1st. Because this, and another thing, a lot of this stuff is brand new. So I may not even find anybody in, I know one's going to take that. Let's do that. See, nothing's happening in Atlanta. But this is cool, because this is groundbreaking stuff. This is brand new stuff. What did I say in one of the videos? Get on this stuff early. The sooner you get in, you can figure out, hey, if it's for you or not, or, figure out whether to use it or recommend it to a friend or loved one that they can make a little extra scratch. Now, that's pretty much it for Get Around, because I will go through this, because I'm not going to go through the whole deal. You can just go to the website when you have a little time, and just look, put your car to work, earn up to $10,000 a year. Just sharing your car 25% of the time can earn you an extra $5,000. 1995 or newer. Thor does not make the cut, because it just hit me. I know it's sad. I don't really drive Thor. Thor is feeling neglected. But I do actually have two cars, and one I do not drive. I am not the only one in this position. Someone else could, with a 2000 model, or If you have let's, before I leave this, let's go hustler mindset. Say you have Aunt Jane who has a nice car that she does not drive. You can convince Aunt Jane to lease her car if you're in a city that has a robust demand for this. And you cart Aunt Jane around to her doctor's appointments, whatever, you help her out. You can make a little scratch. See, open your mind. Open your mind. When you open your mind to new technology and new ways of doing things and helping people out, there's some scratch on the table for you. Now, this next one, Zarly.com. Brand new once again. They are only in New York City, Kansas, but they're going to spread. And they're going to spread like wildfire because, as we go in here, I did not really. So sorry. Okay. this is crazy. Make money doing what you love. Discover new ways to turn your interests, hobbies, and talents and profit by listing them for sale on Zari. Look at this. This is oven fresh new. This is still has the brand, the new car smell on it, the new car website, the new car startup. It's still Alice. Because the thing is you go and you look at this, pop on this, the ability to grow is crazy. So go ahead, figure out, just go through the site, see what some people are selling. Because the thing is, I would pop here, go to New York City. These are storefronts. Classes. And see, this is the thing. You can do services such as, aerobics, fitness services, tutorials, and you can sell. Ooh, that looks good. I'm not going to lie. That looks freaking good. When I was a kid, there was this popsicle that used to look like that. It was like this rocket, and there was these multiple colors. That looks, oh, damn. Do they ship to Georgia? Okay, let me get away from that. Conversation. See, this is what I'm talking about. $110. We're going to click. Remember what I said about people not meeting each other? If you were one of the founders and had this, one of the tasks was to go out and meet people, because people don't know how to start conversations. Here is someone who is teaching people how to have a conversation for $110 an hour. I would say, I'm just saying an hour. Look at this. Look at these reviews. Christine was a pleasure to work with. She has tons of positive, really knows the stuff. I'm looking forward to working with her again. Look at this. Look at this. Conversation. She's got 30 people that love her. Oh, this is her. I thought that was just like some random, but she has. Look at this. All right, let's go back. See, now I want you to think about this, Zarly. It's brand new. You just saw that. Here's someone who's get positive reviews from teaching people how to have a conversation. Zumba classes, peanut butter. Because when we get to other sections of creating your own economy, we're going to talk about making products and services. Oh, wait a minute. Look at, she's got a relationship, because I just saw the. So you can have more than one thing. Look at this. Remember what I said, that you may be in possession of talents and things that you're not aware of. If you're a person who can start a conversation, that could be a coaching business. As you can see, let's look at this. She's got 1, 2. Oh, you can, now let's talk about this. Smart guy, really smart guy. You can go on YouTube and learn how to do what he's doing. There are free tutorials on how to replace iPhone screen. There are free tutorials virtually on every popular phone on how to fix it and do it. And you could go on YouTube, learn, get these skills, and open up a store and make money. And look at this. I'm an expert iPhone repairman. By day, I work in the IT department of the New York Times as a desktop support tech. In my free time, I repair iPhones for my New York. I started working on iPhones in October of 2011, and I fixed, look at this, hundreds. Look at the prices. Let's just say we're averaging 22. No, this is probably going to be the number one, the screen replacement, because I see a lot of people with cracked screens. He does 10 a week, which is real easy by the number of cracks. He's in New York. So there are more phones in New York than there are in Atlanta. And I see way more than 5 or 10 cracked iPhone screens just walking around when I go out. And I don't go out that much. So he has a robust business. Look at this. See, this is what I'm talking about. So go ahead and definitely sign up and go through this and start thinking about when they come to your city or something that you can go ahead. Because see, this is the thing. You can start doing something right now through Craigslist ads, through a Facebook page, and start building. So and go ahead and apply, because understand, a lot of people don't know about this. And this is the reason that I made this a paid webinar and offered it to you, the Hustler Mindset founders, peeps, Spartans, because if I was to put this up on YouTube, this would be flooded, and people who would just, it's like people that get like a really snazzy domain name and they don't do shit with it. Someone could come in and apply for something and literally block a person who's ready to hit the ground running because they knew about it. And it's like, hey, yeah, let me just go in there and apply. And then you can't get in. That happens because a lot of times people put out all of this information. Now we got a guy in here, Ed, who lives in New York. And Ed, this is for you. You've been doing it for years. You could do some coaching. You can do some coaching. You see this? Dude's making money. You can make cupcakes, training classes, anything that you do well, you could teach someone else. Look at this. Look at this. I mean, if you just took a few hours a week and just went through the categories and the cities that they have and looked at reviews, you can get intel and information about things that are super hot and start doing that already, and just build a business. It's incredible. It's calling me. I'm going to look at it. I'm sorry. I had to look at it. I know it's bad, but they have all of this stuff, and understand. Let's see. Let's see. What else do they have? That's New York. And flip out of here. Go back. And let's see now. Seattle. I'm quite sure. Now, this is the thing. Don't be afraid to try something. Cleaning products. She's made her own cleaning products, and I guarantee once again, you could go on YouTube and there's going to be some really nice person that's like, well, I don't want to charge anybody, but I've come up with this great solution or this stuff, and it really cleans well, and they haven't put a patent on it or nothing. You can go on YouTube, find that stuff, and I'm telling you, this is how I think. It's either pimp or be pimped, and someone's going to do it. And I thank these people, because I just said it in the iPhone. You can go on YouTube and learn how to fix virtually any phone, or anything, and take that same information and turn around and sell it to a service for the people who do not want to take the time to research it, or if they researched it as like, I don't want to do it, I'll pay someone to do it. That someone that gets paid could be you. And this is Seattle. A onesie. Bull design onesie, $31. I'm going to click on this because people with newborns tend to be a little nutty. 24 positive reviews. She's making onesies. Onesies. What she's doing is buying in bulk. Because the thing is, kids, that's pretty. You could just... onesies, $31. Onesies. All right. See what I'm saying about, creating your own economy, making stuff? Here's mustard. They are making mustard. Do you see what I'm saying? Creating your own economy with the tools of disruption technology in many regards is easier than finding a job or a high paying job. You can find a low paying job if you have the appropriate skills. But Zumba, or there's so many things that you can do. Because I'll tell you, there's a guy on YouTube that does some training, and I am pretty much going to go through all his videos. Yep, because he's not charging anybody. He's one of those I'm just giving away for free, and I thank him. He does not have a lot of views because he doesn't know SEO. He's not targeting his videos, but his content and the top things he talks about are incredible, and he's just giving it away for free. He's probably going to make me six figures, just letting you know. This is the world of being a data hound, being a knowledge junkie, and just consistently looking for what's going on. Because I spend more time looking at this stuff and listening to this stuff and reading on this stuff than I do watching like Real Housewives of Hell or, Storage Lies or, seriously, where you invest your time will create the dividends for your wallet. It's that simple. Now we're going to pop out of this, but I thought, when I saw this, I was like, they are going to love this. It's brand new. You got a chance to really get in there early. Now, this is if you are Big Daddy Warbucks. You can get money, borrow from 1,000 to 35 grand, or you can lend money and get 5 to 10%. Now, this is not exactly new because there was, I forget the name, it started with a P, but this was started recently and a lot of people love it. Because essentially they're going to have to do like, check your credit and everything. But there's so many things you can do. And let's see. Oh, let me just put in. Oops. Yeah, you can see I have not played around with this too much because I am about making money, not trying to borrow money. Hold on. What the hell would I? Yeah. No, that's kind of outrageous. That doesn't make any sense. Let's do this. You have to fill out all this other stuff. But, if you have decent credit, 720 and above, you can get this for 6-7%. Give you a little perspective on that. Historically, back in the day when I got my first house, my interest rate was 11%. But this was also the time when savings accounts were paying 4, 5, 6%. You can get 10%. So understand, just like they were charging it, you could get it back in certain investment instruments. It's not like that today. And, just letting you know it's out there if you want to do a loan or, So 23 consecutive quarters of positive returns. This was actually started by a guy in France, and it's worldwide. Now, this is another one where actually if you want to, be Benson or that dude that was driving Miss Daisy, you could turn your car into a cab. If you have a car, you have all the insurance that you need. Booyah. You could do an app. And essentially, this is, just once again, this is brand spanking new. Spanking new. This is going to grow. They're going to face probably some regulatory issues. But if you're in the city, the larger the city, the more this type of thing will work. Or you could, there's some people that do it, gypsy cabs, but I wouldn't recommend that. But just letting you know, this is out there. Now, here's another site. I'm not spending too much time on this. I'm spending most of the time on the things I know that's going to rock your world. I'm actually going to use this one to do some things because He's got the Tesla up here, typical price. Uh, and everything goes here. You can sell stuff, you can buy stuff, you can sell. It's kind of like Zarly, and it's not. It has more of a Craigslist feel to it. And oh, wait a minute. This person's. Let's look at this. He's not too far away. Ah, where is this? He's down. He's downtown. Here's a dude in Atlanta. He's renting his Tesla. So if you want to rent a car, you could do it. You can rent your car on this site if you have a car that people will want. Okay. I think I know that neighborhood. So he's renting this car because it's just interesting. So let's see. Let's check out some people. Because I encourage you. I spent so much time on Zarly because one, Zarly is this is kind of like Craigslist blended in with Facebook, because you'll have real people putting up their photos, and it won't have the anonymous vagrant feel of Craigslist, because everyone's like, oh, it's Craigslist and these bad things happen. Bad stuff happens all the time, whether it's on Craigslist or not. That's not even an issue. But this is really cool, and you can rent. Now, this is another thing. You don't have to sell stuff on this site. You can rent if you want to. Let's see. Let's go here. Photo, video. Go to. Not much here, but you could sell stuff. And this is another place for you, if you're a reseller, to put your stuff to sell. And the thing is, by showing your real face, hooking up to your Facebook page, it creates a higher level of trust. A much higher, because it's not like you're just this random person that's just out there in the netherworlds. For all they know, you could be a vampire, and that's very scary. So, once again, go to Snap Goods, because like I said, if you have high-end camera equipment and stuff like that, and let's change this. Let's go to 50 miles. See what pops up. Once again, let's look at this. $7 per day. He's renting out an old camera. Security deposit $250 in case they break it. So if you come across some camera equipment for the low, or something happens, like I said, once again, this is different. You can rent it, you can sell it, you can meet new people. I really see a lot happening, and this is part of the new economy and this disruptive, because this is going to Zarly, and this site is the reason that Craigslist, and there's another sites, because as I come across more stuff, I just picked what I thought was the best of the best to show you for this particular session. But there's more. There's way more, and I'm going to bring it to you. But this is disrupting Craigslist. Craigslist has made more changes in the last 6 months than they have in the previous 12 years. Some of the changes were dumbass. Some of them were stupid. Craigslist makes so much money from actually having not to do anything that they're not being very innovative, where people who've created these companies and platforms are starting from scratch, and they're very, very hungry. So Craigslist has pretty much, for them to compete, they're going to have to change their culture, which has worked so well, and they didn't have to do anything. It just, Craig Newmark came up with a great idea, and it just spread across the world. It was pretty much word of mouth, and dude making millions from not really doing anything. So I don't know if they're going to summon up the hustler mindset or the energy that's required to compete with these new companies, because this whole little thing, like, well, you don't have to sell it, you can rent it, and they have to put up a really big deposit, which protects you. That's a lot of ways for resellers to have their items somewhere making money versus just sitting on their shelf. Like, say you rent out something 3, 4, 5 times, you make plenty of profit, then you just put it up on eBay for a non-asset auction because you don't care. And it gives you a certain freedom of mind. Now, I put this in here because you can rent ties. I put this more in here, more so for a ideal generation resource. Here's something that's pretty common. It's a tie. Starting at $10.99 per month, you can have a tie sent to you in the mail, rent it, send it back. A tie. Look at this. All these people have talked about it. And, just sitting here, if you're a long time member of the Hustler Mindset, then you already know that you should do these exercises. But when I was saying, hey, do an inventory on you, what do you like? What are your passions? What type of things that you think that you could come up with? As you can see, it doesn't have to be rocket science. It doesn't have to be, oh, I'm going to knock their socks off with this. It just has to have excellent execution. Regular run-of-the-mill stuff made me a lot of money over the years. And with these new tools, these new platforms, you can do very well with what you already have. It's creating new sales channels, new distribution channels. Like I said, I am excited. And that is going to end this session. I just put it together for you to give you some things that you can start working on now. Get the old ideal factory churning out ideas, because I'm telling you, the Zarly thing is going to be hot, hot, hot. 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 And you have a chance to get in on the ground floor. So with that, this is Glendon Cameron, and I will see you on the good side.